Hi Gemini, this is your Vedic Astrology forecast for the month of December 2014. And just a quick reminder, Vedic Astrology uses the moon sign as a reference point for transits as opposed to the sun sign, which Western astrology uses. So if you're not sure where your moon sign is in Vedic astrology, just visit my website, and there you can generate your free Vedic birth chart and find out the position of your moon and your ascendant as well, if you're also want to look at it from your ascendant. Now, the first half of the month, the Sun and Mercury are going to be transiting your 6th house. Mercury is going to be there in the sign of Scorpio until December 13th, and the Sun's going to be there until December 15th. And the Sun's going to be in the nakshatra of Jesta. Now, Jesta, the meaning of this nakshatra is the elder, and the Shakti is the power to rise, the power to conquer, and the power to overcome. So with the Sun transiting your 6th house, being in this nakshatra, this is, and then especially your Lord, which is Mercury, being in the 6th house, this is going to be a very good time to make progress at work. In your line of work, this is going to be a good time to pursue those ambitious desires you have and to be successful at them, and especially in regards to authority. So if you have a position of authority at work, the nakshatra of Jesta in general signifies authority. It gives good authority and leadership qualities. This nakshatra represents people who desire to rise to power, to conquer, to overcome. And the Sun being placed in the 6th house is actually a very good position, because malefic planets, which are natural malefics like the Sun, Rahu, Ketu, Mars, Saturn, when they're placed in the 6th house and Saturn's already there in transit for you, when they're placed in the 6th house, they actually do very well when they're in this position in natal charts. So during the transit, this also speaks for itself. It also gives you that drive, that ambitious energy to overcome enemies, competitors, to exceed in your work. Now, with Sun being placed in this sign in the 6th house in Scorpio, this may also be a good time to work on your healing abilities, because the 6th house has to do with healing and health as well. And the Sun is a focal planet here, being the 3rd lord. The 3rd house has to do with things we do with our hands. It also has to do with communication, of course, but it has to do with our own efforts. So putting your efforts towards healing, which is the 6th house, because the Sun is a natural significator for health. It's vitality. He's the sunshine. He's what, he's the reason that we grow, that we exist. He gives us that energy, that drive. So you could also, use this first half of the month towards healing, the laying on of hands, etc. So that's going to be playing out the first half of the month for you. The second half of the month, both the Sun and Mercury are going to be transiting your 7th house of Sagittarius, and they're going to be transiting the nakshatra of Mula. And the meaning of Mula is the root, and the Shakti is the power to destroy. So now the Sun's going to be in this nakshatra for the second half of the month. Mercury generally is going to be actually transiting like 4 nakshatras during the month of December. So it's going to be a little more powerful with the Sun's transit, transiting this nakshatra. Now, the Sun rules the 3rd house, which, among other things, has to do with communications. And the 7th house has to do with our relationships, our partnerships, business partnerships, or even our clients, or other people that we are involved with in general. So with the sun transiting the nakshatra of Mula, which means the root, there may be some communication happening, either with your romantic partnership, your spouse, or your business partners or clients, etc. There's going to be most likely some communication that gets to the root of the matter, that actually brings things out that were hidden beneath the surface, and that through this communication that may be taking place, suddenly this information comes out. Now, the Shakti of this nakshatra is the power to destroy. So this could come out in two different ways. The first way is that through your communications with that other person or your significant other or whatnot, that through that communication, something comes up, like maybe certain information that resulted in biases that were actually wrong, or points of view that were incorrect, either a bias or a point of view that you yourself had, or a point of view that the other person might have had that was wrong, that was incorrect. So through this communication taking place and happening in the nakshatra of Mula, basically the power to destroy would be generating itself in terms of destroying that bias, of destroying that false opinion that you or the partner may have had about a certain situation. And that opinion or bias gets destroyed, and then there's a sort of like regeneration and a rebirth, a renewal happening, because this nakshatra Mula signifies that. Now, Mula also has to do with healing, and so there could be a healing taking place through this communication, because certain things may have been cleared up that were at the root of the matter, and you finally got it out of the way and brought it to the surface. Now, another way that this could express itself is that, something gets destroyed through this communication, such as maybe your trust in the other person or their trust in you as a result of this communication. So there's also a negative side to this nakshatra, to every nakshatra. There's a positive and a negative way that it could express itself, just like everything else. So the negative way in which it could take place is in that way, where you may have to choose your words very carefully, or just make sure that you communicate in a way where you don't say things a way where someone can take it the wrong way, and then you destroy that friendship, or you destroy that trust or whatnot. Venus is going to be transiting your 7th house throughout most of the month of December. Venus is going to be in the sign of Sagittarius from the 5th of December through the end of the month. And Venus is going to be in the nakshatra of Mula until the 16th of December. Now, Venus rules your 12th house and your 5th house. The 12th house has to do with dreams, with meditation, with yoga, with introspection, withdrawing from the world. So it has to do with spirituality in that way. And then the 5th house has to do also with spirituality in terms of mantras, religious practices, disciples, being someone's disciple, learning through scriptures, gaining spiritual knowledge, gaining spiritual information through books and scriptures and whatnot. So this planet Venus is going to be transiting your 7th house in the nakshatra of Mula. Now, because it rules the 5th house, and the 5th house has to do with romance and love and infatuation and creativity, and Venus signifies those things as well. And then the 7th house obviously has to do with partnerships and romantic alliances, etc. So there's definitely going to be this atmosphere of romance throughout most of the month of December. Now, because Venus is going to be transiting the nakshatra of Mula, and Venus rules the 12th house, which has to do with the unconscious, with our dreams, our subconscious mind, with meditation. So this could signify getting knowledge that is rooted in your subconscious mind and bringing it to the surface. So you may experience that there may be certain dreams that come to the surface during this transit and bring certain things to your awareness that were hidden. And you could also probably achieve this through meditation as well. So through meditating, bringing things to the surface that are rooted in your subconscious mind, that will come to the surface and give you knowledge, give you a certain level of consciousness that you were not aware of before. And Mula, since it signifies the root, there's also a connection to the root chakra, which is the first chakra, which is where Kundalini is placed. So with Venus, ruling your 12th house of the unconscious, of the subconscious mind and meditation, transiting Mula, which is the nakshatra signifying the root, there could also be in a sort of Kundalini energy, becoming activated during this transit of Venus. Now, on the 16th of the month, Venus will be entering the nakshatra of Purvashada and will be transiting this nakshatra through the end of December. And the meaning of this nakshatra is the former undefeated. And the Shakti is the power to invigorate or energize. So there will be a certain element of energizing, invigorating relationships, because Venus signifies relationships, signifies the 5th house, but this is going to be even more enhanced through the transit of Purvashada, because now there's going to be the element of invigorating as opposed to uprooting and getting to the root of the matter. This one's going to be more of taking that information and adding energy to it. Now, one of the symbols of Purvashada, or the symbol of Purvashada, is a winnowing basket. And what this means is basically separating the wheat from the chaff, as James Kelleher puts it in his book. And so what this tends to signify is that through this transit of Venus, there's going to be an element of knowing right from wrong, especially in your case, because for you, Gemini, Venus rules the 5th house, and the 5th house is our intelligence. The 5th house has to do with our judgment and how we judge the world around us. If we judge things intelligently or not, it basically has to do with the wisdom that we have and the ability to make the correct judgment. So with Venus, your 5th lord, transiting Purvashada, signifying separating the wheat from the chaff, this is going to be a time for you to make right choices, because you'll have better discrimination, which the 5th house signifies discrimination. You'll have better discrimination in terms of choosing right from wrong, good from bad, desirable from undesirable. That power is going to be generating itself during this transit of Venus in Purvashada, and as a result, this is going to lead you to making good choices, choices that maybe information came up through the uprooting process of Venus transiting Mula, as well as the Sun, because Venus is going to be transiting Purvashada, Sun's going to be transiting Mula, and then bringing all this stuff to the surface at the same time. So as a result, this is going to give you the ability to discriminate between choices, between right and wrong, and to choose the right path, and to go down that path and make choices that will, in the long run, benefit you and give you success. Now, Mars is going to be transiting your 8th house throughout the whole month of December, and he's going to be transiting the sign of Capricorn, in which he's exalted in this sign. And Mars rules the 11th house in your case, which signifies friendships, networking, ambitious desires, financial gains, long-term goals. And then Mars also rules the 6th house, having to do with your job, your work, your competitors, your enemies, with health, etc. Now, with Mars transiting the 8th house, this is going to cause what you call in Vedic astrology a Viparit Raj Yoga. And what this means is that a Dusthana Lord, which are, the lords of the 6th, 8th, or 12th house, transiting another Dusthana Lord, so another Dusthana house, which is, the 6th, 8th, or 12th Lord transiting the 6th, 8th, or 12th house. This is going to cause a Viparit Raj Yoga. Now, because Mars rules the 6th house, so what this signifies, and is transiting another difficult house, which is the 8th house, which usually signifies having to overcome certain challenges or obstacles, or things of that nature. So during the month of December, in the beginning, there may be obstacles to overcome in regards to competition, in regards to maybe competitors at work, or enemies or friends that suddenly turn on you at first, or there might be some intrigue happening in the beginning, or some sort of manipulation that is hidden because of the 8th house. 8th house has to do with that kind of stuff, but then it resolves itself before the end of the month, after probably during the half of the month, because a Viparit Raj Yoga will cause these problems to surface in the beginning, but then because of this yoga, they resolve themselves. So then towards the end of the month, there's going to be a resolution if these problems do come up for some of you, but there definitely will be a resolution by the end of the month, and especially because Mars is exalted, so this should not play itself out very negatively, if negatively at all. Maybe it's only a certain challenge that comes up, or a certain obstacle, but certainly not in a way that will be detrimental to you. Now, the beginning of the month, Mars is going to be transiting the nakshatra of Uttarashada, and the meaning of this nakshatra is the ladder undefeated, and the Shakti is the power to gain unstoppable victory. So with Mars transiting this exalted position of Capricorn, being the 6th Lord, and then transiting your 8th house, the first 9 days of the month, there's going to be an element of victory for you, in regards to your competitors. But of course, there's going to be challenges first to overcome as well. So the obstacle will present itself, but there will also be a certain level of victory. But this will be more prevalent towards the end of the month, as I mentioned, because of this Viparit Raj Yoga happening. The positive effect of this yoga happens towards the latter part of the dasha, or in this case of the transit. Now, after the 9th of December, then Mars is going to be moving into the nakshatra of Shravana, and the meaning of this is the ear, and the Shakti is the power to connect. So, as I mentioned, there may be this competition, this obstacles, challenges in regards to people at work, maybe because the 6th Lord Mars, or in regards to your friends or networking or your social circle. And so there may be certain challenges coming up at first, but because then, Shravana is the power to connect, there will be an element of connection, of understanding, of introspection. The 8th house has to do with, going beneath the surface of things and getting that deep knowledge and bringing it up. And usually it's done through transformation, or through initial challenges that come up first, and then the resolution. So with this nakshatra signifying the power to connect, there will be an element of connecting with others towards the end of the month. There will be this element of, because Shravana also signifies the ear, so you will have that tendency to actually listen to others, point of views, whether it's your competitors, your opponents, or whether it's your friends. And so that ability to listen to others, to listen to what other people have to say, and not just immediately come to certain conclusions, that's going to give you the edge, and it's going to give you a benefit. And then that's probably going to play itself out as part of the resolution, as the reason why there's a certain resolution that will take place in those relationships. Well, Gemini, this was your forecast for December 2014. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for additional forecasts, and don't forget to subscribe.